Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.
Question 1. An index used to determine interest rate changes for certain adjustable rate loans is called A. Treasury Index, B. Rate Index, C. Adjustable Index, D. Interest Index. Answer: The Treasury Index is an index used to determine interest rate changes for certain adjustable rate loans. Question 2. A written justification of the price paid for a property, primarily based on an analysis of comparable sales of similar homes nearby, is called A. A comp, B. An appraisal, C. A similar analysis, D. Neighborhood investigation. Answer: B. An appraisal is a written justification of the price paid for the property. Question 3. The property that will be pledged as collateral for a loan is known as A. Security, B. Pledge, C. Promise, D. Collateral. Answer: A. In this case, the security is the property that will be pledged as collateral for the loan. Question 4. The buying and selling of existing mortgages, usually as a pool, is called A. Primary market, B. Secondary market, C. Tertiary market, D. Market index. Answer: B. The secondary market is the buying and selling of existing mortgages. They are usually sold as a pool. Question 5. Ingress or egress means the right to A. Enter or leave designated premises, B. Buy or sell designated property, C. Exclude or include individuals from a designated property, D. None of these. Answer: A. Ingress or egress means the right to enter or leave a designated premises. Question 6. A tenant is excused from paying rent in the event of fire or casualty damage, and the landlord receives uninterrupted income while the premises is unusable by means of A. Rent loss insurance, B. Hazard insurance, C. Rental insurance, D. Property insurance. Answer: A. Rent loss insurance covers a landlord for lost rent in the event of casualty damage while the premises is unusable. Also, the tenant is excused from rent for this period. Question 7. The noting in the registrar's office of the details of a properly executed legal document, such as deed, mortgage note, satisfaction of mortgage, or extension of mortgage, thereby making it a part of the public record, is called A. Recording, B. Notation, C. Delivery, D. Registration. Answer: A. Recording is when the details of the properly executed document are noted in the registrar's office, making it a matter of public record. Question 8. A purchase money transaction is A. The acquisition of property through the payment of money or its equivalent, B. The acquisition of property through the securing of sufficient loan amount, C. The acquisition of property through the promise of sufficient collateral, D. The acquisition of property through the payment of equal property. Answer: A. A purchase money transaction is the acquisition of property through the payment of money or its equivalent. Question 9. What does PITI stand for? A. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. B. Property, income, taxes, and insurance. C. Prime, income, tenement, and insurance. D. Principal, income, taxes, and insurance. Answer. A. PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They are the four components of a monthly mortgage payment on impounded loans. Question 10. The four components of a monthly mortgage payment on impounded loans are: A. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. B. Property, income, taxes, and insurance. C. Prime, income, tenement, and insurance. D. Principal, income, taxes, and insurance. Answer. A. PITI stands for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They are the four components of a monthly mortgage payment on impounded loans. Question 1. A real estate broker only has a right to earn a commission when the property sells during the listing period except when which of the following is included in the listing agreement? A. A broker's protection clause. B. Exculpatory clause. C. A subordination clause. D. None of the above. Answer. A. The broker is entitled to a commission if the property is sold to parties with whom he has negotiated during the term of the listing for a stated number of days after the listing expires. Question 2. Harris and Davis, single people, owned a parcel of real property as joint tenants. Harris encumbered his interest for $10,000, borrowing the amount to pay medical bills without the knowledge or consent of Davis. Shortly thereafter, Harris died, with the debt still unpaid. Which of the following would be true? A. Davis and the lender would be tenants in common, each owning 1/2 interest in the property. B. Davis would own all of the property free and clear of the encumbrance. C. Davis would own all of the property but would be subject to the $10,000 loan. D. Davis and the beneficiary would own the property as joint tenants, each with a 1/2 interest. Answer. B. On the death of one joint tenant, the survivors take title to the property without the obligation to pay on foreclosed liens. Question 3. Occasionally, the title to real property becomes unmarketable. Which of the following causes would be least likely to result in that eventuality? A. Imperfect title, due to a breach caused by adverse possession of a prior owner. B. A lease pendens filed by the husband of the owner of record. C. Restrictions imposed by a private owner through a deed notation. D. Public restrictions contained in zoning ordinances and building codes. Answer. D. Public restrictions rarely cause title to real property to be unmarketable, private restrictions sometimes do. Question 4. Prices have risen 20%. What has happened to the value of the dollar? A. It has gone down 16 2/3%. B. It has gone down 20%. C. It has gone down 25%. D. None of the above. Answer. A. For instance, an item that used to sell for $1 now sells for $1.20. The dollar now buys 5/6 of what it used to buy. Its value has gone down 1/6 or 16 2/3. Question 5. What supports the floor and ceiling loads? A. Joists. B. Studs. C. Supporters. D. Mudsills. Answer. A. Joists are the beams that run horizontal and parallel to each other and are used to support the floor and ceiling loads. Joists are beams, not rafters. Question 6. A broker who takes a listing with option to purchase is, first of all, A. A principal. B. An optioner. C. An optionee. D. An agent. Answer. D. A listing agreement which contains an option to purchase is first of all a contract employing the broker to act as an agent for the owner in the sale of the property, and that is his principal role. If he exercises the option, he operates in the capacity of a principal in its resale, but this is secondary to this responsibility as an agent. Question 7. An inner-city neighborhood is well integrated with civic groups working to maintain social harmony. However, mounting problems with schools and with increasing crime have caused several white families to move out. In which of the following statements is Broker Brown in violation of the law? 1. He is actively soliciting listings in the area with the slogan "Sell Now, Save Equity." 2. He is offering lower commission rates to whites who patronize his business. A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both statements. D. Neither statements. Answer. C. Both of these acts are in violation of the fair housing laws. Question 8. The liquidation of a financial obligation on an installment plan or basis is A. Conversion. B. Amortization. C. Acceleration. D. Conveyancing. Answer. B. Amortization means to pay principal and interest over the life of the loan. Question 9. Mr. and Mrs. Davis held real property as husband and wife. Mr. Davis died and his will specified that all his interests were to go to his eldest son, Thomas. Son Thomas would A. Inherit an undivided 1/2 interest in the property. B. Acquire a 1/2 interest in the property. C. Acquire title to the property in fee simple, as he is the eldest male heir. D. Acquire no interest in the property as it would automatically go to the widow. Answer. A. Under the community property law, either spouse may will his or her undivided 1/2 to anyone they choose. Question 10. Inasmuch as real property requires more time to market than listed securities, require more care, and comes in larger denominations, its return should be A. About the same as from bonds. B. Higher than from bonds and less than from first trust deeds. C. Equal to the return from first mortgages. D. Higher than that of bonds or first mortgages. Answer. D. The return from real property should be higher than from bonds or first trust deeds because of the above factors. Question 1. When a loan is fully amortized by equal monthly payments of principal and interest, the amount applied to the principal A. Increases while the interest payment decreases by a constant amount. B. Increases by a constant amount. C. Stays the same. D. Decreases while the interest payment increases. Answer. A. When amortizing a loan by equal monthly payments, the amount applied to the principal gradually increases while the amount applied to interest gradually decreases. Question 2. In order to bring court action to collect a commission earned for negotiating a month-to-month rental, the broker A. Must have a written listing signed by the owner of the property. B. Could not have charged more than 25% of the first month's rent for his services. C. Must have been registered with the real estate commissioner as a rental broker. D. He'd prove only an oral agreement to pay a commission. Answer. D. Contracts which are to be performed in less than 1 year, such as a month-to-month rental, and agreement leading up to the final contract, listing for a month. Question 3. A primary source of funds for residential mortgage financing is A. Federal Home Loan Bank. B. Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation. C. Federal Savings and Loan Associations. D. Federal Housing Administration. Answer. C. The primary source of funds for residential mortgages is federal savings and loan associations. The money ultimately comes from household savings, but the sources for the loans are the savings and loan associations. Question 4. A balloon payment is a part of A. Fully amortized loan. B. Final payment made on any loan secured by a trust deed. C. Partially amortized loan. D. None of the above. Answer. C. A balloon payment is defined as the final payment when it is an amount more than twice the smallest payment and the loan is classified as partially amortized as opposed or fully amortized. Question 5. What actions can the Federal Reserve Board take to increase the supply of money and credit in the national economy? A. Lower the cash reserves required by banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. B. Sell U.S. government securities in the open market. C. Raise the discount rate charged banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. D. Increase the requirements of banks which are members of the Federal Reserve Bank System. Answer. A. If the Federal Reserve Board lowers the reserves required of member banks, it will increase the amount of money available in the economy. Question 6. When reading an amortization table/chart, the amount shown as the payment based on a given loan amount, rate of interest and term indicates A. Yield. B. Both principal and interest. C. Interest. D. Principal. Answer. B. An amortization chart, table, will show the monthly payment which includes both principal and interest required to pay off a loan of a given amount, rate of interest and term. Question 7. The security of a loan made on real property depends upon A. The borrower's credit. B. The value of the property being liened. C. The stability and value of money. D. All of the above. Answer. B. The property is the underlying security for the loan. Question 8. The requisites of a grant deed when compared to a land contract of sale may differ with respect to A. Interest conveyed. B. Signatures of the principal parties. C. Designation of purchased price. D. All of the above. Answer. D. A grant deed and a contract of sale differ in the signatures of the principals, as a grant deed requires only the signature of the grantor, but the contract of sale requires the signatures of the vendor and vendee. They generally do no disclose the purchase price in a grant deed but must in the contract of sale because it is a contract. A grant deed has implied warranties and the contract of sale has no implied warranties. Question 9. In advertising a listed property for sale, a broker may not legally A. Run an ad which does not give the listing price of the property. B. State the kind of financing available. C. Fail to state the street address of the property. D. Run an ad giving the impression that he is the owner of the property. Answer. D. For a broker licensee to use an ad which gives the impression that the property is being sold by the owner himself/herself when the broker has, in fact, secured a listing on the property, would constitute substantial misrepresentation. This kind of action is unlawful. Question 10. When an owner of real estate sells the property to someone else, which of the sticks in the bundle of legal rights is he or she using? A. Exclusion. B. Legal enjoyment. C. Control. D. Disposition. Answer. D. To dispose of something is disposition. The legal term often applied to this stick in the bundle of rights is alienation. It is a right often taken for granted but did not exist in feudal times or in countries in which the land belonged to the people, the government. Question 1. Which of the following real estate syndicates requires 100 or more investors? A. Limited partnership. B. Joint venture. C. Corporation. D. Real estate investment trust. Answer. D. A real estate investment trust, which is organized under federal laws, must have 100 or more investors. Question 2. A purchaser of real property utilizing leverage is A. Using the maximum amount of his own money to purchase property. B. Using the maximum amount of borrowed money to purchase property. C. Making the maximum down payment for the property. D. None of the above. Answer. B. Leverage is the use of credit, borrowed money, to purchase a property. When a property is 80% leveraged, it means a debt on the property is 80% of its value. The owner's equity is 20%. Question 3. A licensed contractor purchased 8 lots in a new subdivision and constructed 8 homes on the lots. He sold the 8 homes to various buyers and took back a $5,000 second trust deed on each of them. He would now like to sell the trust deeds within the year of their creation at a 20% discount. In order for him to do this, he A. Needs a real estate license. B. Must sell them through a real property securities dealer. C. Does not need a permit. D. Must deliver a real property security statement. Answer. A. These second trust deeds are classified as promotional notes and are real property securities. The contractor must obtain a permit to sell them, and since he is handling 8 in one calendar year, he is considered to be in the business and must have a license to sell them through a licensee. A dealer's endorsement is not required. Question 4. Which of the following statements is correct concerning a land contract? A. It is used when the seller wishes to convey title without a trustee relationship. B. It is similar to a lease in that the buyer has a right of possession but no rights in the title. C. The buyer has absolute assurance of receiving title upon performance of the contract. D. It is the least secure method of financing real property for the buyer because the seller has retained the title and the buyer is merely the equitable owner. Answer. D. A land contract is a security device used in financing real property, but it is the least secure method for the buyer, since the seller does retain the title. The buyer is the equitable owner, which means that he can use the property. While the seller retains the title, the buyer has rights in that title, and he often records the land contract to give public notice of those rights. Question 5. The liquidity of a borrower is generally determined by a loan officer in considering A. Debt to equity. B. Income total assets. C. Current assets to current liabilities. D. Fixed assets to current assets. Answer. C. A loan officer, in determining the liquidity of a borrower, is attempting to determine his ability to pay off current bills. Current assets to current liabilities would be the test he would use. Question 6. The owner of a property who signed a listing with a broker for 30 days was killed in an accident before the listing expired. The listing is A. No good as an authorization but binding if a buyer is secured later. B. Still in effect as the owner's interest was clear. C. Binding upon owner's heirs to carry out his promises. D. Terminated by the death of the owner. Answer. D. All personal service contract, such as listings, are terminated immediately upon death of either party. Question 7. Which of the following would usually be considered real property? A. Timber. B. Airspace above the land. C. Unharvested crops already contracted for. D. Landfilled dirt being moved. Answer. B. Of the choices given, airspace above the land is considered real property. Question 8. Conventional loans are distinguished from FHA-insured loans by all of the following except. A. Conventional loans provide for a lower loan-to-value ratio. B. FHA loans generally provide for a longer repayment period. C. Conventional loans always permit a deficiency judgment, while FHA loans never allow them. D. Interest rates on FHA loans are generally lower than those on conventional loans. Answer. C. Deficiency judgments are not allowed on purchase. Question 9. Brother and sister purchase property as joint tenants. Later, the sister marries and deeded her interest to herself and her husband. A. The joint tenancy continues to exist in all three persons. B. The brother remains as a joint tenant. C. The joint tenancy is terminated. D. The sister's deed to her husband is voidable by the brother. Answer. C. Joint tenancy require the four equal unities of time, title, interest and possession between two or more parties. Once any of the four unities is broken, it can no longer be a joint tenancy. Question 10. Theft as it relates to real property includes all of the following except. A. Entering and removing part of the realty. B. Defrauding by misrepresentation. C. Signing another's name without authorization. D. Carrying away any portion of the security of a mortgage with the intent to defraud the mortgage. Answer. C. Signing another person's name as forgery. It may lead to theft in our way of thinking, but is not defined as such in the Penal Code. Question 1. The FHA uses what to pay lenders, within the limits, resulting from foreclosure? A. Title insurance. B. Mutual mortgage insurance. C. Homeowners insurance. D. Blanket policy. Answer. B. The FHA insures loans with mutual mortgage insurance. Question 2. Functional obsolescence is best exemplified by A. Wear and tear. B. Dated equipment. C. Change of demand. D. None of these. Answer. B. Dated equipment is an example of functional obsolescence. Question 3. Change of locational demand is an example of A. Functional obsolescence. B. Economic obsolescence. C. Planned obsolescence. D. None of these. Answer. B. An example of economic obsolescence would be change of locational demand. Question 4. Normal wear and tear from use would not be considered. A. Functional obsolescence. B. Economic obsolescence. C. Obsolescence. D. All of these. Answer. D. Normal wear and tear from use is not considered any form of obsolescence. Question 5. What is sufficient disclosure in an ad for a home? A. Annual percentage rate. B. Number of monthly payments. C. Total of accumulated interest charges. D. Minimum down payment requirements. Answer. A. If the APR is included in the ad, this is sufficient disclosure for an advertisement. Question 6. A judgment by the court ordering the sale of property is known as A. A writ of execution. B. A habendum clause. C. A writ of judgment. D. A notice of declaration. Answer A. A writ of execution is issued by the court ordering the sale of a property. Question 7. A written decision of the court, that when recorded creates a lien is known as A. A habendum clause. B. A writ of judgment. C. An abstract of judgment. D. A writ of execution. Answer C. An abstract of judgment is a written decision of the court that when recorded creates a lien. Question 8. This is issued to the holder of a certificate of sale after the 1-year redemption period has passed under the terms of the mortgage foreclosure proceeding. A. A writ of judgment. B. A sheriff's deed. C. A sheriff's notice. D. A writ of execution. Answer B. A sheriff's deed is issued to the holder of a certificate of sale after the 1-year redemption period has passed under the terms of the mortgage foreclosure proceeding. Question 9. Prepaid rents in escrow are typically A. Credited to the vendee. B. Credited to the vendor. C. Debited from the vendee. D. Debited from the buyer. Answer A. The buyer is usually credited the prepaid rents in escrow. Vendee is another term for buyer. Question 10. Vendee is also known as A. Buyer. B. Seller. C. Agent. D. Broker. Answer A. Another word for buyer is vendee.
Exam Scholar, Real Estate Edition.